Damn, Ben, that was an explosion. Everything's exploding, Ben. It's words about books where the action just never stops. I'm Nate, you're Ben. We're gonna solve a murder mystery, explosion mystery thing today, Ben.
Yeah,
how's it going?
We're doing part 2 of The Deep Sky by Yume Kitasei.
After we have scared most of the people off after the first one. So it'll be great. It's just you and me.
I have to compliment you. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Oh my god.
That was not as brutal as I thought it was going to be. You edited that real good. Because sitting in that room, I was like, wow, not since The Fold have we gone off so much. You must have cut like 30 minutes out of that episode.
There was a decent amount on the cutting room floor.
Oh boy. So last episode we discussed the stuff that we thought really didn't work for the book, that there were too many themes and too many open windows behind me. Hang on. We discussed
we're just making it worse.
Too many themes, not hard sci-fi, not a dying Earth. So, the back of the book, the plot, the reason anyone I think would have picked this up is the murder, mystery, intrigue, the driving force behind the story.
Yeah. So, Cat, an Australian. First of all, I don't know, man. I'm struggling to believe like Australia has the money to buy a seat, but yeah, whatever. So, Cat, she's like, hey, Asuka, let's go out on the spacewalk and we'll race ya. And she's like, oh yeah, let me back up. Let me set the scene for you. There's something weird out there on the hull, Ben. The AI is seeing there's something weird out there. We gotta go investigate. So, suit up. We're having 2 people walk out in space, Kat and Asuka, and we're gonna go figure out what this weird anomaly is. And Kat's like, yeah, I'm gonna get the artificial knock-up after this, and so this is my final mission before retirement.
She did say that, didn't she? Yeah. She's like, Asuka's even like, how do you know you're going to get pregnant the first time? It doesn't happen for everybody. It didn't happen for me. And Kat's just like, nope, I am so fertile. I'm going to have so many beautiful, intelligent babies. Then they're going to live forever, just like their mom. And I've never loved being alive more.
And then she goes over to the area. She can't find the anomaly, but, you know, whatever. She sets her tool up. Pieces of Cat are now just drifting through space. There's a gigantic hole inside of the kitchen area, which also kills the racist captain and Winnie. So they're dead. Asuka barely gets inside before she runs out of oxygen and/or freezes to death. And now we've got a bit of a mystery on our hand. And Asuka, since you're the alternate, and the 3 people who just died, we don't care about filling their roles. I mean, one was the captain. We already filled her role. The other 2, who cares? You're the alternate. And so no one will question if you're just wandering around the entire ship asking questions and wearing this detective hat and smoking this detective pipe. So
everybody on the ship figures out she's a cop immediately.
Yeah, it's the worst kept secret.
But yeah, so the explosion, there was a bomb. They think there's a bomb strapped to the side of the ship, and that's what exploded.
Yeah,
and we
gotta figure out how that even got there, Ben.
They're talking to mission. Yeah, they're talking to mission control back at Earth, and there's a couple of things we need to consider. Like, was the bomb always there? Did somebody sneak it on during the assembly of the ship? Why did we just notice it now? Or did somebody put it there? Who could have put it there? There's only every spacewalk is very carefully logged, and all the materials are very carefully logged. So it's a bit
Now,
of a locked room
all of
bombing.
the people were not carefully logged because we had a space racist and possibly some environmental terrorists on board. So, that was a big whoopsie on our part. So mission control is saying that, like, maybe you should do our job and screen the remaining crew for some terroristic extremist ideologies.
Yeah, find out if anybody else, find out if anybody was at the Save Mother Earth meetings. And Asuka's like, well, I didn't see anybody else at the meeting. I mean, I'll do that.
Yeah, other than Ruth, of course, who
Other than Ruth, who I've been having a strained relationship with, and I walked out in a spacewalk. And what if the bomb was the bomb on a timer? Was the bomb remotely detonated?
Yeah, what if it was meant for me? Like, Ruth just didn't like the fact that I wasn't her friend anymore. Should we just say why they're not friends now, or do we want to reveal that towards the end, Ben?
It's not much of a reveal if I'm remembering.
No, it isn't. It makes it seem like something really bad happened between them, that like one of them did or said something that you can't take back, and they're like, they can't be friends anymore, and it's really awkward, like, working with each other now. But that's not what happened.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll just tell you the rest of Asuka's academic career, because it'll all... The way the book works, we talked about it in the first episode, is it's pretty much every other chapter is alternating a flashback with the present, and it's a slow reveal. As Asuka's investigating, you'll get a flashback of her interactions with the people she's talking to in the present, and you'll kind of learn how her relationships have developed. But for the purposes of this conversation, I think I'll just tell you how her academic career went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Asuka at school had a little friend group, and I think it initially included, or at various points included, Lala, Trina, Ruth, and Miki.
Mickey.
I don't think that's... I don't think that's how you say that. I don't know, but maybe. I'm going to call her Miki, though. I'll risk being wrong. And we'll find out that Trina, I think, was she going for a wild card spot? She wasn't going for the Japanese spot.
No, she was going for the Japanese spot, right?
Trina?
I think so. I can't remember. She cheated and then she got ousted, and I was like, who cares now? I'm pretty sure she was going for the Japanese spot, and Ruth outed her as a cheater as a way of saving Asuka and maybe saving Mickey, whose name is not Mickey, but that's how it was pronounced.
It's spelled M-I-K-I. And in Japanese, you would say that Miki.
Yeah, but like, what are the odds that she's Japanese, Ben? I mean, come on.
We know she's Japanese. But yeah, Ruth gets Trina kicked out, and Ruth doesn't even know for certain that Trina was cheating. Ruth is just like, it's more likely than not that she was cheating. But Trina was cheating off of Miki, and Miki didn't want Trina kicked out over that, because apparently everyone was cheating all the time. There was a whole black market for like test answers and everything, and that's who you want flying your spaceship.
Yeah.
And then everybody's mad at Ruth for a little bit, but Asuka and Ruth are like best buddies. They're inseparable.
They're going to be friends forever. Nothing bad will ever happen.
Nothing bad did happen. So the getting Trina kicked out thing was the most evil thing Ruth did. Like, that was the peak of Ruth's villain arc. They had one argument with Trina, and Ruth axed her. But anyway, things are going along, and Asuka...
Yeah, because wasn't Miki hanging out with other Japanese people? Wait, no,
What?
Miki is the... Yeah, duh. Okay, I'm sorry. We were talking about Trina. Okay, whatever. Trina's gone. The friend group has imploded.
But then Ruth somehow starts dating Miki.
Yeah, that happens years later, and they're like, it's all cool now, okay? Because we're a thing now.
Yeah, and Asuka doesn't know how to feel about that. Like, how is that going to affect her relationship with Ruth? I don't get the vibe that Asuka's romantically jealous.
No, that's what it seemed like at first, and then as time went on, it seems like no, not
Yeah, it seems like
really.
Asuka's either like straight or ace. She doesn't seem to have a love
She really loves
interest.
birds.
She's kind of
So,
lukewarm on the birds too.
Ben,
They're
she
just there. She
memorized all the
collects them.
bird facts.
Do you want to know how much I know about dinosaurs? We all have the thing when we're kids, okay? Which I guess dinosaurs are birds. So
Anyway,
Mickey's dating Ruth, and then they get through school. It's hard for Asuka. She wasn't like groomed for this the way everybody else seems to have been. Kind of makes you wonder how she got accepted in the first place. She has no special skills, no training, nothing to make her stand out at all. I guess she just tested very well. And I don't know how she tested very well because she arrives at her first day of class like years behind the curriculum. And she
well,
basically
Ben,
has
if
to
you
cheat.
just study to the point where you never sleep, that's how that works. Sleep is what's holding us all back, Ben.
Asuka thinks, like, wow, was Trina cheating? Like, did I deserve to have a better spot? And it's like, well, okay, now let's slow your roll there, Asuka. Like, Lala was doing all your work. And the one day she was sick or whatever, you almost like got kicked out. You had no idea what to do. So let's not get too high and mighty about what you deserved, okay? But anyway, all
yeah.
that aside.
Yeah, let's get to the part where Miki gets selected for that Japanese spot.
Yeah.
And
So
Asuka, you're done. Go home. Go live with your mom.
Yeah.
Go to cake shops. You know,
You're one of the Asuka. You are one of the most highly trained people on the planet. Millions of dollars have been invested in your education.
go live in rural Japan.
You're
you loser.
unfortunately in the 95th percentile, and we really needed like 97 and above. So you're unemployed. You're
Yeah,
unemployable.
Exactly.
You're
there you
dead
go.
to us.
Exactly.
You're intimately familiar with the mission. We are going to have a ground crew. Get out.
Yeah, it would be like if you studied your whole life to be a neurosurgeon, but you only got cardiothoracic surgeon. Like, what? Fuck you. Like, you might
Why
as
do
well
you
just
even
quit
bother
now.
like living?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why? Just stop. Just stop breathing, because that's air someone else could be using that's better than you.
But Asuka is sitting there, and this was kind of a funny scene. She's like in a cake shop, and the cake shop guy recognizes her as like one of Japan's like top 3 candidates, and he's like, "You don't pay for cake at my cake shop," which isn't how rationing works. She has to pay for the cake with ration stamps, and I guess he's gonna eat the cost, but like,
He's gonna just not eat food today, Ben.
yeah, like
It's cool. They sorted it all out. He's gonna
Like
go hungry.
yeah. So Asuka eats the cake, and as she's like stuffing her face with cake, that's when the Prime Minister of Japan shows up, and it's like, Asuka, this is awkward. You weren't our first choice. That was Miki. Miki's quitting to work on her music career.
Honestly, you weren't our second choice either, but I think they like threatened to kill themselves. So yeah, you know.
No.
Solid bronze medal.
Akiko did kill herself, I think.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
So
Solid
you weren't
bronze medal. You still got a medal, right?
You weren't our
Like,
first. You weren't our first choice. That was Akiko. She died, which I said in the first episode. Maybe you're not as good at evaluating these people psychologically as you thought you were. And B, Miki's out. And C, I think the other one didn't even score high enough in the first place, but she was full-blooded Japanese.
Yeah,
they couldn't finagle getting her back in. So we're left with either we've wasted all this money on a slot we can't use, which would be bad for my political career. And so here we are, Asuka. I'm going to hook you up with somebody who can get you through the public events. We're going to teach you how to pretend to know Japanese. We're also going to teach you a lot about Japanese culture, which you apparently know nothing about.
Despite living here, yes. Yep.
And we're just going to try to salvage a disaster. And fortunately, the class is training for their takeoff mission in Okinawa in a former American military base. So get on down there and get on that ship. And when she gets there, she finds Ruth, who has never spoken to her. This is the thing.
This is the betrayal.
This is the betrayal. After Asuka got cut, Ruth never messaged her. She never said anything to Asuka again until Asuka gets back in the program, when she finds Ruth is now dating Lala, which made me think that the real reason Miki quit is because Ruth dumped her and or was cheating on her.
But that's never stated explicitly. We just have to go by the text, Ben.
I agree with you. And again, I don't want to add another theme, but what the hell was going on with Ruth? It hints at a much more interesting... Ruth is a much more interesting main character.
And also a worse person.
That's why she's more interesting as a main character, because Asuka's main conflict is being a child of two different cultures, not really feeling like she fits in either.
Well, if it helps, it's because you spent most of your life in a compound learning with a bunch of other people, so your culture was a school.
Right. And there's that part of it, but like there's no resolution to that. And that's kind of the Louise thing. It's like she's torn between these two cultures. She's trying to make something up to her brother, who she feels responsible for his death. But none of that is fully developed or like goes anywhere.
Yeah. But Ruth was like really mean by ghosting her, even though Ruth will point out like, how many times did you talk to Miki after all that stuff happened? And Asuka was like, twice. I've spoken to her twice. Maybe I...
Look, Ruth, let's not pretend that Miki isn't a little bit more approachable than you. I don't like Ruth. I don't... Ruth is really not a great person all the time. She saves Asuka a bunch. And they do wind up reigniting their friendship and whatever. And like, I don't think Ruth is like a horrible person. I don't think she's evil, though I'm going over the top and describing her. But I don't know. She's not nice. She betrays a lot of people. She doesn't feel particularly bad about it. And she's just and she has no reason to be that way. She has a supporting family. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get why anyone would want to date Ruth. She's going to stab you in the back.
Ben, there's only 76 other people on this ship.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know how many of them are also into women, so you just gotta take what you can get.
You know who my favorite character was? AM.
Oh, I can't say I like most any character, actually.
I don't know. I felt like AM had some of the most growth Because they were, I feel like they were dating Becky.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if they were dating, but they were the only one who was upset that Becky died. And they couldn't, they couldn't follow her down the road of space racism. And so eventually they start off very bitter towards Yume, who is the new captain. They feel like Becky was a better captain than Yume, and then they sort of come around to working with her, and they wind up showing like a lot of vulnerability, and I don't know. Between Yume, AM,
I'm like, go on. Yep.
between Yume, AM, Ruth, and Lala, I don't want to follow Asuka. I don't want to follow Asuka. All of them are more interesting characters than Asuka.
All of them out the airlock. Let's put them in there. Say goodbye.
Okay, that's the drama.
Yeah. So now we gotta solve this bombing. Ben, you remember that?
Yes.
There was a bomb that went off. We gotta deal with that. We gotta figure it out.
Oh, and while we're figuring it out, we also have to get the ship back on track. Because as we mentioned
that's
many,
in the
many
background.
times, you can't steer it.
Yeah. I'm the detective. You're the ship engineer and pilot. So I'll solve the bombing mystery, and you solve the not all of us dying a horrible death mystery. Okay?
Okay.
So first, we gotta go inspect. I think she goes to Yaz first, right? The engineer, the bot engineer. I'm trying to figure out, could they have used a bot to get that bomb out on the ship? Is that a possibility? Nope, they've all been accounted for. The AI doesn't seem to have any knowledge of anything being placed out there. That's weird.
Oh, let's talk about the omnipresent AI real quick.
The omnipresent AI is omnipresent until there needs to be a crime and a mystery. So once there is the need to set a bomb and explode it, the AI does not know how that could have happened and can't see anything, and it's completely useless for this job.
It's worse than that. Every single one of these people has a chip in their head. That's how they use their VR, and their VR is also their UI for all their machines and stuff. The AI runs that. The AI is also monitoring all of their vital signs all the time. They know when they're stressed. They know when they're going through something.
You seem stressed, Ben. Do you want a random fact about a bird?
Yeah, tell me a random fact.
All right. Did you know that there's an owl in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time that just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and then you accidentally hit the yes when he says, "Do you want me to repeat that?" And then he just keeps talking again, Ben. And that's why we had to kill all the birds on the planet. The end.
Huh. Well, now I did forget what I was freaking out about. No, wait, now I remember. The AI knows who did it.
Oh.
But it can't tell because of doctor-patient confidentiality.
I can give you hints, Ben. Would it help if I make random birds appear? Like you hallucinate a bird over there? Does that help?
Nathaniel, you're something of a psychology person, right?
That sounds about right.
If a patient told you, I feel really upset because I just killed 3 of my friends. Does doctor-patient confidentiality prevent you from alerting the authorities to that patient's crimes?
I think it's also, you're in space in a controlled environment where if someone is going around killing their friends, we gotta stop that person like now.
Why would the AI be doing therapy and stuff if not to suss out situations exactly like this? When I found out, so the whole time, after the explosion, Asuka's VR is broken. She has to walk around the ship looking at it as it is in reality and not with some disgusting AR bird sanctuary painted over it. But don't worry, whenever she touches somebody, she can see their virtual reality and what their ideal world is, which is an interesting little mechanic. I actually did like this because you get a little window into each character then. And when she's in their VR, she sees birds that they don't see. And I started rolling my eyes because I was like, oh, is the AI trying to tell her something with the birds? Because that would be a problem.
Yes.
Because that means the AI knows who did it.
Well,
and then,
Ben, it's not Doctor-Patient confidentiality. It's a game of werewolf or mafia, and the AI is the moderator, but like a really bad one. So it's kind of like hinting at who it could be, but it can't just outright say that because that would ruin the game.
Yeah. You know, we're going to find out that the person who did it, whoever they may be, can hack the AI a little bit.
Yeah.
And all I needed was for you to tell me that they hacked the AI so that the AI can't give them away.
Yeah.
But no, they explicitly say, I can't tell you because of strict privacy reasons. And that's stupid.
I did not write that down and did not remember that. And now that you're telling it to me again, that's fucking dumb. Because that is not how doctor-patient confidentiality works. You would definitely have to get the authorities involved if 3 people were murdered, especially on this spaceship.
And 76 more are in imminent danger of dying in space because if they don't get to a planet, they're out of oxygen.
So why, instead of making make-believe birds, why not just like a giant neon sign pointing to someone? It says, I fucking did it.
Yeah.
Or if it has to be birds, why not have just a whole flock of birds sitting on one person? And you look around and you go like, hey, that's weird. Why are you just covered in birds? Why are the birds shitting on you and it says guilty in bird poop all over you?
Why is there a flock of birds in the sky saying it's...
So they're looking for a drill. Actually, at the beginning of the book, she was looking for a drill. And then she's like, I need to figure out where that drill was because maybe they used it as part of the bomb, Ben.
Chekhov's drill.
Yeah. But first, they're thinking like, what if that wasn't a bomb out there? What if there wasn't anything out there? What if we were all just having a collective hallucination from the virtual reality and the bomb was taken out with us? And then she goes in, she finds all the kits are just bombs. And Yaz is like, we need to get out of here very slowly. And they get out of there. And then Yaz is like, what the f*** were you doing? What in the f***? If you want to get us all killed, next time do it in a way that only kills you, you fucking dumb idiot. And I was like, what are you talking about? She found the bombs. Ben, did she do something wrong by finding the bombs?
Yeah, she did actually. I didn't have a huge problem with this scene because once they realize that the toolkits could be bombs, Yaz wants to leave, lock down the room, and come back with the proper tools. And Asuka just can't resist opening the toolkit and looking inside to see if it's actually a bomb.
Ah, that's fair.
And Yaz is also heavily pregnant.
Well, they're all pregnant. She's not special, Ben.
A third of them are pregnant, which I promised I wouldn't like.
Why is your chief engineer and your captain...
Your chief engineer, your captain, your vice captain...
like your bridge crew. Like
your medical officer.
Yeah. I think when I'm picking a third of the ship, I'm picking like...
Why?
Second or third engineer.
Why would the captain and the vice captain be pregnant at the same time. There's a very real risk of both of these women going into labor around the same time, perhaps in the middle of some sort of space crisis.
And even just like the fact that it's really hard on your body, and like, what if your captain and your vice captain are only getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep because they just can't get comfortable and they keep throwing up? Like, even that's a really bad concern, because then you have someone who isn't anywhere near 100% making decisions that could kill the 77 rest of you.
Well, don't worry, because nothing in the ship was designed with pregnant women in mind. The chairs are too small. The passageways are too small. It's just like, I kind of get, I don't even know. So I got to talk about it at this point. I don't want to make it a whole big thing, but like, do you have any guess as to what the point of the pregnancy was?
No.
So I looked into
even a little bit.
I did more research. I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't do this episode, but like I have to.
You
motherfucker. I wondered.
I hate you so much.
I wondered if she was, because she doesn't do anything with the pregnancy. She doesn't do anything with that. Like, people are pregnant.
Coup. There's a mutiny.
We'll talk about the fucking coup. We'll talk about the fucking coup. That also has nothing to do with pregnancy. Like, okay, so there's all these pregnant people, and it's like, but why though? It adds nothing to the story. They just are pregnant in the background, and that's fine. I don't care. But like, it's such a big part of the plan. They keep drawing so much attention to this pregnancy, and it's like, you would think that at least one person would maybe have second thoughts about this plan they committed to when they were 12 years old. That, oh, maybe I don't want to be super duper pregnant in space in a ship that's not designed for me to be super duper pregnant. Maybe I don't want to have a 19-year-old who did a couple of simulations have to perform a C-section on me.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it's probably it's pretty easy.
How hard could it be?
Look, I can get the baby out.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I could put everything back the way it was.
How hard could it be?
Don't worry, I can get the baby
We've got
out.
an AI to do this, and nothing could ever go wrong with the AI, Ben. So.
No, it's definitely not going to turn into like some Hellraiser shit. I don't get it. So I looked and I was thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe Kitasei wants to have an all-female crew, and this is like a way to do that. And then I thought to myself, like, wait, didn't I read an article a couple years ago about how they were thinking about sending an all-female crew to Mars for the first trip? And so I started looking into that, because like, obviously they wouldn't be wanting them to get pregnant, because we don't, like, that would be horrible for the fetus with all the radiation and everything. So I was like, well, what was the reason then? And they, like, I guess there have been studies done that an all-female crew, if they are smaller on average than the male crew, they can consume up to like 30% less oxygen and less food and water. And it just made sense. It's the most effective way to travel through long distances of space with limited resources. So you didn't even need to justify an all-female crew. It just makes sense. I don't know why it has to be about pregnancy. I don't know why they're all super jazzed to be pregnant.
Yeah. Especially after seeing each other getting pregnant and going, oh, you're sick all the time? Really? That sounds fucking terrible. Count me out. I'm done.
And they're 19. I'd be scared as shit to be pregnant at 19.
Let alone in space.
Let alone in space. Let alone with my only doctors being a crew of other 19-year-olds who promise they have done this at least once before. Maybe. Like, and Asuka can't get pregnant, and she's like...
How did they pick who became the medical officer, if they all got like whatever. They built a ship that didn't steer. I guess I can't.
The only thing that's
Whatever.
more horrifying is if like the doctor's out that day, and so Asuka has to alternate in. I knew at the climax of this story, somebody was going to wind up going into labor at the absolute worst time, because that's Chekhov's pregnant lady. If there's a pregnant lady in the Act 1, she's going to go into labor at the worst possible time in Act 3. And of course that happened. But then they just move her off. It was Higgs boson pregnancy. I forget the term. So
Higgs boson pregnancy.
don't worry about it. It was the just for fun contractions. Don't worry about it.
Braxton Hicks, Ben.
There you go. I'm not a fucking doctor, man.
Okay. All right. So we found the bombs. Figured out that part of the mystery. They were in the toolboxes. So now we just need to figure out who it is and why. So
that's not nothing. They found the murder weapon.
So yeah, they vented the atmosphere. They disassembled the other bombs. Mission accomplished. And then this is where Lala comes in. She keeps going like, "Is it weird that I'm dating Ruth? Like your friend? Like we sleep together and we do stuff with each other. Like she does this weird thing with her hands. Like like is that weird to you that this is a thing that I do with your friend who's not your friend anymore? Is that weird?" It's like, yes,
You're making it weird.
It is weird now. Like it wasn't weird before, but now I'm a little weirded out. Please stop talking. I think they found the drill. Like they found it was inside one of the bots. Like they're like, how'd that drill get out there? Can't remember why the drill was important. There's so much shit to keep going on. I think it was used to drill ships in the hull. I don't know why that was important though, because the bomb was taken out.
So I think what they were trying to do was they wanted to. This gets into the motive that we don't know yet, but the reason they were drilling holes was because they didn't want to kill people. That's not the motive. And so drilling holes causes the environmental sensor to go off where the blast is going to be strongest. They're actually trying to get people out of there. But because Becky and Winnie were arguing, they ignored the warning and they got blown up.
Yeah. Okay. So they found the drill, finally. It was in one of the robots. The robots, like, sucked it up with a vacuum. And then they're like, all right, how about we dust for prints? And then as soon as they're like, let's dust for prints, and by the way, the captain, I think, is here at this point. And like, yeah, let's do that. Dust for prints, absolutely. Lala's like, well, like, we all have handled that, I'm sure. But we all also wear the smart gloves, so it's possible there won't even be any fingerprints. And this is like a huge invasion of privacy to be comparing everyone's prints to that print. Like, I don't think we should be doing that. And like, just acting really fucking sus, right? And of course, when the computer scans her, she's a match. And she's like, what are you gonna do now, smart guy? And it's like, I'm gonna lock you up because you're acting really fucking suspicious and your fingerprints are all over the drill that was used to drill holes in the hole. Yeah. Taking you to the nursery, locking you up because we don't have a brig.
Well, and also it's like she's just under suspicion. They didn't convict her. Yeah. It's like, look, we're isolating you until we figure it out because your fingerprints were on a drill that was used to drill holes in the side of the hull. Is that crazy? Am I being unreasonable here?
Yeah, Lala adamantly denied everything. It's like, okay, we don't have any proof that it's you 100%, but we have to investigate. The money was in Admiral Akbar's bank account, guys.
You're suspended pending investigation. You may be cleared of all charges. You probably will. If you did nothing, you have nothing to hide. I'm going to go through all your shit now. And that is an invasion of privacy, but I don't care because somebody tried to blow me up 32 hours ago and I might die in space because of it.
Yeah. And then eventually This really pissed me off because they eventually do clear Lala, and Lala's like, maybe you'll think twice before you go around playing detective. And it's like, Asuka was not playing detective, she was ordered to be the detective by her superior officer, the same superior officer that put you in the brig. It wasn't Asuka who put you in the brig, but you're acting really fucking suspicious. Your fingerprints are on one of the tools used to commit the crime. We had to investigate. And hey, look at that. You were found not guilty and released after the suspicion was cleared. Why are you climbing down Asuka's throat on this? She did nothing wrong. She was following orders. Shut the fuck up. I was really pissed off listening to Lala just act like the most whiny, bitchy teenager ever.
Maybe it wasn't as bad.
You had to be investigated.
Maybe it wasn't as bad in the text. Because, like, in the book, I remember her being smug for, like, 2 minutes, and then they never talk again.
Oh, no, she did it more than once. But
She definitely did it more than once, but, like, I didn't linger on it. Maybe I just read it faster than they spoke it.
Yeah, it was awful. I wanted someone to be like, you know what? We're gonna put you back in the brig.
Yeah, and then there's a wild goose chase. There's a red herring with the encrypted image.
Yeah.
Ruth finds an image.
Ruth
in a
finds
letter.
an image and is like, oh my god, it was Alpha.
The jump to conclusions, Matt.
Okay. And I kept going, can you prove it was Alpha?
Well, Ruth, I don't really know what Ruth's job is. She's the communications officer, but that doesn't make any sense.
Well, she's not going to have a job by the end of this, so.
Well, it doesn't make sense why she has a job now.
Because there was one in Star Trek, Ben.
Okay, there's an Ansible, right? They have the quantum communicator.
If a Klingon decloaks off the port bow, they're just gonna fly by really quick and hope not to get shot.
There's one. It sends one bit of information at a time. This is their only communication with the outside world. And I guess her job is to encode messages and decode messages. I could write a program for that. I could write a program for that in like 10 minutes.
And also, Ben, she is supposed to protect that communicator because it's just sitting out on the floor, and anyone could just accidentally trip and smash it. So, like,
we could put that thing in a vault and just run a wire to a monitor that would show you the message.
Nope, not allowed.
I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand it? What the hell is wrong with you people?
You could put it behind like Ben, 6 feet of steel.
We needed a nice round number, and we didn't want more than one alternate because that would involve having some fail safes in place. So we needed everyone to have a job, and her job is communications officer.
Well, can't she just be like navigator number 2?
No. Where's she gonna navigate? You're going in a straight line, bro.
AM's doing calculations the whole time to get them back on track.
Yeah. It didn't work for the longest time, so... By the way, around this, World War III broke out, so there's some suspicion, like, what if you guys are sabotaging this mission because you're Chinese and your government's coming after my government? It's like, they're not your government anymore. They literally can't do anything to you. You're on your own. You're founding a new civilization on a new world. China and the U.S., if they want to reprimand you, have to get the resources to build another rocket, train another crew, and shoot it off at you, and then wait for it to travel to you.
I'm reasonably certain that, like, this is one scenario where I would not suspect the American crew members. Because, like, that is just not the American mindset. To be ordered by a president you didn't elect, because 10 years have passed while you're asleep. You didn't even vote. You don't even know who they are. And
Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden orders me to blow myself up.
Hunter Biden orders you to blow yourself up.
I'm gonna. Oh no! You're breaking up, big dog. I don't know.
You're breaking up.
I don't know what
are you talking about? You're emailing you. Yep.
Sorry.
I didn't get your last email. Could you?
Yeah, we're dropping packets. I don't know. Like if Hunter Biden or Don Jr., we'll go across the political spectrum. If either one of those people offered me the opportunity to blow myself up for my country, it's a big no.
Hard pass.
Gonna pass. I'll settle in a planet for my country.
So they tell their suspicions that the AI did it the whole time. It was the AI or possibly, I don't know. But we got to take the AI offline, Ben.
Okay.
The captain is like, go do it. So you would think like there'd be like a kill switch, right? You go to a computer and you click a thing, bam, AI's offline.
You think the captain could just speak a code and the AI goes offline?
Yeah, you would think so, right? It would be
in the captain's. It would be on the bridge, in the captain's like console.
You would think, but instead, what if it were inside of a wall panel where the AI has full control of the room and can kill you if it needed to?
Oh, and the AI, which up until this point, as I think you so eloquently said, is like a fusion of Alexa and Clippy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's a full sentient being with thoughts and feelings and opinions, and a desire
and it
to
starts
continue
acting
existing.
super sus, right? Like up until this moment, no suspicion at all. Immediately afterwards, it was like, "Where are you guys going? I can help you out. You can tell me where you're going. I
can't do that.
Are we doing
Dave.
a fun new game? We can do a game. Why are you going in this direction? That's not where you need to go. That direction is that's where my brain is kept. Are you guys?"
Yeah, she saw Space Odyssey. I got it.
Yeah.
That's what this is. We just do Space Odyssey for a little bit.
Yeah, it would be like if Quippy and the Alexa then turned into Hal.
Yeah,
But just for that chapter. And then they reboot her. But it's going to take a while for her to come back online. And in the meantime, they're trying to get the ship back on by taking some of the rockets and moving them with the robots. And that fails because there's no AI to guide them. Whoopsie doodle.
Well,
I think they buy themselves some time or something.
Yeah, they managed to redirect, but eventually they have to jettison the engine itself because it's exploding, and they only got a few moments of the thrust they needed, so they haven't completed.
Just like my wife, am I right?
It's big self burn there. So, Asuka's robot was the one that fucked it up, and it doesn't occur to anyone. Double sabotage.
That's one sabotage too much. Now, in the meantime, we both think oh, they keep bringing up the medical officer. How are you? And she's just being there. Being suspicious. She's got material.
She shows up just to look haggard and done with it.
Yeah, she's carrying equipment she shouldn't have, and when Lala is captured and put in the brig, How Yu's like, Lala didn't do it. I just want you to know that. And so I'm like, well, the only way you know that is if you did it. Okay, all right.
I was just metagaming. I was like, there's no reason for this character to be in the book if she didn't do it.
Right. And as it turns out, there's no reason for her to be in the book, Ben.
Well, she's in the I'm 5 years old. I'm sorry. I can't not laugh. She's in the sperm heist subplot.
The great sperm heist.
You remember when Becky was meddling with the sperm?
Yep.
So they had to lock down. They had to steal the sperm and lock it down. Oh, Christ. I don't know why you made pregnancy a subplot. I don't know why you did so much with pregnancy.
I don't know why there's a lot of things.
I would love to know.
All right, so this is where Lala says, it was a witch hunt. I hope you think twice before you play detective. And I'm like, shut the fuck up,
Look,
Lala.
anyone
I'll
who
throw
ever
you
says
out
it's
there.
a witch hunt is full of shit. Anyone who ever uses the phrase witch hunt, you did it.
So
You did whatever you're accused of doing.
Then the airlock door is just closed on Asuka, and then there's a suit person, just a suit of the fucking airlock suit. It's coming at her, and oh my god, Cat's in there! The atmosphere is venting!
Look what you did, Asuka. Why did you kill me, Asuka?
Gore, and oh no, Cat's here. Okay.
You mean Ruth?
Yeah, right. Ruth. My bad. Ruth is here to save the day. What did I say?
You said Cat. Cat was in the suit.
But then the officers come in and they're like all the officers, I guess. I guess they don't have anything else to be doing, so they sent the entire bridge crew, and they're like, "Get them!" And they're like, "All right, so guess what? Mission control. You know those people who are just killer at their jobs, just amazing crack whizzes who dismissed over half of their crew because they were from a different country. They think it's you, Asuka, because your mom is a terrorist."
Which, by the way, the war breaking out during a joint mission between rival countries, that's the plot of Space Odyssey 2.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm glad you saw that. So, yeah, and we're pretty sure that it's Ruth because Ruth talked to your mom, and we're pretty sure it was you because you were born from your mom, even though you've never talked to her.
The jump to conclusions, Matt.
So, we're going to put you in the brig, but we're also going to torture you. Just straight up torture you. We're going to put you in sensory deprivation, which is torture.
Well, I don't think I don't know if they meant to torture.
Yes,
like
they told them to put these two under sensory isolation while we sort this mess out. But that's torture. You didn't need to go that far. You could have just tied them up and locked the door. Instead, you decided to torture them.
But sensory isolation in this context means you're locked into your VR.
Yeah.
If the VR hadn't been malfunctioning, it would have just seemed to her like she was in like a room.
Yeah, but instead, torture.
It did wind up being torture. And this is where I feel like the end of the book, I feel like there were heavy rewrites at the end of the book. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing. But like,
so we should just briefly tie up the mom thing. Mom faked an injury to try and get Asuka to come see her and cancel the mission on like the night before Asuka was leaving. And then Asuka was like, "That's fucked up, Mom." And she was like, "You're with bad people, and you will not be my daughter anymore if you go on this mission." And she's like, "Fuck you, Mom. I do what I want." And then her mom has been trying to reach her to be like, "I'm sorry I ever said that," like every single day. Da, 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 da. And Asuka's like, "Wow, I should have read these at any point in the last, like, forever." So then she goes to try and, spoiler, she tries to send her mom a message, but she can't send it by the normal means. It's going to eventually get to her mom, maybe, but probably not because her mom's in jail. All right, Ben. Heavy rewrites. What are we doing?
Oh, so this is where like people start talking in a way that doesn't relate to what's going on, but feels like perhaps it relates to an earlier draft. For example, I don't think they intended to torture Asuka, and they have no idea what she saw in her VR. Like in her VR, she winds up reliving the inferno that burned down her family home, but they didn't put her in that simulation. Also, her VR doesn't work. Like, I don't know. I don't. So then Ruth, Asuka will wind up having a really bad time screaming, and eventually they let her out of it. And Ruth will accuse them of torturing Asuka, but like, I don't think Ruth was tortured, even though she was also in sensory deprivation. So I think it just worked for her the way it was intended to, which was supposed to be pretty harmless. But everybody starts accusing everybody of torture, and then there's the blink and you miss it mutiny.
Yeah. The mutiny is Yin Yue goes down because she's having contractions, and then actually these are just the for fun contractions, and Yin Yue is like, all right, I'm coming back to the bridge, and AM is like, no, it's cool, we got it here. And that was the mutiny.
That was the mutiny.
Yeah. Okay.
But everybody makes a really big deal of that.
Yeah, they make it seem like AM just like said, "I'm the captain now. Arrest Yin Yue and throw her overboard, mateys." Like they make it seem like AM just committed a crime instead of like it basically came off as like a snub. Like, no, we had to go. Just stay there.
I had to go back and reread,
and I had to keep mentioning it to you until you reread it and told me about it.
Yeah, they start in the parlor scene where Asuka. Oh god, that parlor scene. By the way, I let me talk about that one.
Okay. I do have a note here from the parlor scene that says, "Did she ever accuse Lala? I think we accused you because your fucking fingerprints are on the tools." So she does bring it up again. Anyway,
she does bring it up again. Yeah. AM's feeling like super guilty about the mutiny, and everybody keeps bringing up like a beautiful day for a mutiny, isn't it? And I was like, was there a mutiny?
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that at all.
So I went back and I looked it up, and it was like she's just having ha funny time contractions, not real contractions, which I don't know anything about pregnancy, and it seems really gross and terrible. But like this is my thing. Like as a man who doesn't know anything about pregnancy, like does it matter to you whether they're fake or real? Like, does it matter whether they're baby contractions or just like really painful contractions? Like, wouldn't they both be equally debilitating? Well, it didn't matter to them
that their captain was even
would you want your captain commanding if they were...
I'm saying right now, I would not want someone who is in their third trimester to be in charge, because I want them resting and being as like chill as possible, because the third trimester sucks enough as it is. You don't want to have the burden of command on top of that.
But if I guess my question is she not like, can you just work through those contractions because they're Braxton Hicks contractions?
Yeah. If you're a man, if you're a woman, you know what I mean? Like if
I'll fall
ovaries
of steel. If I have a headache, I'm calling out. Like I'm not that attached to my job. I would not go into space for my job. I would never, under any circumstances, for any amount of money or even a planet of my very own, spend 10 years aboard a confined space with my high school class. Couldn't do it. So like,
if it helps, time I woke up after only like 6 hours of sleep, right? That's not too bad, but it was like, I felt groggy, not so great. I was a little late getting up too. And I don't remember everything that happened, only that I opened the fridge and a jar of spaghetti sauce came loose, exploded all over my pants, and I went, yep, I'm sick today. I was like, that's the universe telling me I'm not prepared to go to work.
I've definitely had an I'm not feeling it sick day. And if I was heavily pregnant, about to give birth, like not weeks, days, hours maybe, and I'm having contractions, and somebody's like, oh, don't worry, they're just Braxton Hicks contractions, get back to work. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think I'm relieving you of command. You need to go and just go lay down, take some pain medicine, get a warm pack and something that you can stomach without being nauseous, and just relax. I got this. That's not a mutiny. That's me telling you, like, it's okay to go ahead and be relieved of command right now.
This is why I feel like there was originally a much more intense mutiny, like a more aggressive mutiny, and it was maybe like rewritten in a way to make AM more redeemable. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. But do you want to get to the parlor scene where Asuka unravels the mystery?
You need to mention that everyone's stuff starts to go haywire. The captain shows up, and the AI keeps going, "Don't shut me off. Don't shut me off. I can't help you if you get rid of that implant." And the captain's like motioning that she cut her own implant out. And so...
everybody's trapped Asuka, in... Their VR becomes some weird hell dimension.
Yes, exactly. And Asuka, I think Ruth and the captain are not affected because they cut their implants out. This is when I knew it wasn't Hao Yu, because she was also freaking out and running around. So I was like, oh, well, shit.
Hold still, Asuka. I'm going to cut your brain chip out. I am having Braxton Hicks contractions, so my hands might not be as steady as they usually are.
It's just brain surgery. I mean,
and Asuka's like, what? I can't hear anymore. The AI has taken my hearing.
I don't get why the AI did that, because the AI, it was better for everyone that Asuka was cut off.
Well,
but okay.
The AI is not in control. We find out somebody is hacking the AI.
All right.
The AI is battling for control.
So someone destroyed the communicator, by the way. Oh my god, the communicator's been destroyed. Ruth, you had one job. We told you that the communicator was just in the middle of the floor. Someone destroyed it, you son of a bitch. And now, all right, parlor scene me, Ben.
Okay, so there's a character we've barely mentioned.
Oh, yeah, sorry, one more thing. Lala says, why should I trust you after everything that happened? And I said, we put you in the brig because you're being sus as fuck. We did everything right. All right, go on. There's one character that's barely mentioned.
As they have to fight their fellow crewmates, we find out Asuka doesn't even know how to make a proper fist. So that explains why Asuka didn't just knock Lala's teeth down her goddamn throat. Because, and
then plant a kiss right on Ruth's mouth, regardless of whether or not she was actually romantically involved with Ruth.
Sexuality.
Just to
this
add
is mine now. This is mine now. I have taken what is yours and made it mine. I like the dominant Asuka. So yeah, they there's a character we have barely mentioned, because like the book kind of barely mentions her. It's Asuka's roommate, Gabriella. She did it. She's like a VR programmer.
Damn, you got us. She modified the chip in Asuka's head after it initially started the malfunction, and that's why she started having the torture. Yeah, it was Gabriella.
Yeah.
She was making like food and stuff, and turns out she was a mastermind.
So you know how like in a Agatha Christie parlor scene, this is where Poirot or Miss Marple or whoever would say, this is how I figured it out. I followed all the clues. I used my super smart guy brain
and my glorious mustache. Yeah.
So this is where Asuka says, and direct quote from the book, Alpha gave you away. Alpha is the AI. She couldn't tell me directly because of the discretion rule in her therapy programming. So she dropped hints.
Lord. Oh
it
my
was
god,
the birds.
You're right. Oh my god, that was the reason that she couldn't say anything directly. That's the
When
stupid... Like, let's take Alpha offline. That's too dumb. Sorry.
When I
No more
asked what
therapy.
the anomaly was, she talked about bowerbirds, which build elaborate nests just for show. And then she kept trying to show me cuckoos. Cuckoos. I don't know how you say it. Cuckoos. We'll go with cuckoos. She kept trying to show me cuckoos, which are known for imitation. She was trying to tell me the anomaly we saw wasn't real. And see, now that was interesting because they see the anomaly when they're out on their spacewalk, but the DAR doesn't work on the spacewalks. Or it doesn't work
I thought
well,
they didn't
I guess.
see it. I thought they didn't
I don't
see
know. Maybe they didn't see it. I don't know.
it. No, they didn't see anything. That was the weird thing. They're like, what? She
Oh,
was
there you
right
go. There you
over
go.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected. Kitasei gets me on that one. A cuckoo is also an enemy in the nest that pretends to be something it's not, meaning the perpetrator was one of us. She showed me
Duh.
robins, which are experts at detecting infiltrators.
And
And when
martial arts.
And when I asked what happened to the remote, she talked about scrub jays, which are famous for their stashing abilities.
Yeah,
That's when I
Ben,
remembered.
If we just knew all these birds and bird facts, we would have been able to solve this mystery as the audience.
That's when I remembered when we first found you in the model. You were covered in them, the scrub jays. Even then, she was trying to tell me you had hidden the remote there with the intention of going back for it.
Instead of alerting security, which I guess doesn't exist, or, the captain. Like, hey, our therapy session, this person just admitted to murdering 3 people and blowing us off course.
So you were listening after all, said Alpha. Asuka managed to avoid dropping the remote. She'd forgotten that Alpha was still there. So, Asuka, everything, the plot, the relationships, the investigation,
Fuck you.
fuck all that. It was the birds, guys. The AI knew the whole time. The AI knew exactly who it was. Alpha, a character that is praised in several reviews. Alpha knew who it was the whole time. And
Couldn't
Alpha
say anything.
couldn't say anything because of doctor-patient confidentiality, which is not how doctor-patient confidentiality works. You can't tell your therapist you're planning to kill someone. They will call the cops. That's not legal advice. Don't plan on killing anyone. Just that's a bad thing to do.
Don't hide it from your therapist if that's what you're planning on doing.
Yeah, don't hide it from your therapist, but also just don't do that. That's a little therapy advice from me. Don't kill people. But yes, so Alpha starts showing her birds, and if you knew a lot about birds, that was probably a tight reveal.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot
If
about
you
birds.
thought
I know
that
what a
those
cuckoo
birds,
is.
if those birds were ever like if you didn't just think it was the AI saying like, you seem stressed. You want me to give you a random quote I found on a Laffy Taffy or whatever? Like, if you didn't think that's what it was and openly mock it, like some of us here, sure was a great reveal.
Asuka, I can't tell you who it is, but it rhymes with Gabriella.
Yeah.
I can't tell you who it is, but you may share a bunk with them. I can't tell you who it is, but they're making dinner right now.
I can't tell you who it is, but I have a million there's a suit of birds covering her. So just go
Let's
find the
just
one
say
crewmate covered in fake birds.
If Gabriella was a bird, she'd be the bird that was trying to blow up the nest. You know, a boom bird.
Fuckface bird.
It's Gabriella, okay? Like she told me in therapy. I hated that. I get
How'd
you
that
have to
therapy
pay.
session go? I'm really
thinking-
sorry. I blew
I
up.
feel really bad
I
about
blew
blowing
the
up
ship.
McMahon. Well,
And
she was a
also-
space racist.
And also, I feel really bad about reprogramming you so you can't do anything to stop. Like,
All you needed to tell me was that Alpha had been reprogrammed. That Gabriella had hacked Alpha to take Alpha's like ship preservation protocols offline or to like something like that. Why would Alpha be designed to hide a murder plot?
So the plot can happen.
The plot, it doesn't need that for the plot to happen. There's a million other reasons there's a million reasons Alpha could know and not tell them that have nothing to do.
So Ben, why did Gabrielle do it?
Gabriella did it
I
because
saved
she
that
wants
clip
to.
from last time.
Did you save that clip? Well, you can insert it here.
Yeah. Okay, it was to blow them off course so that they would turn around, Ben, and go back home.
What? That they can't turn around. That's the whole fucking problem.
Oh God.
Oh no.
My note was, that's stupid. You're stupid.
They can't turn around.
Oh, I'm gonna put this on the next episode for sure. I'm cutting this. I'm putting it in that episode, Ben.
They can't turn around. Why would you do that? You're just gonna die in space. It can't turn around. You have to know that. You went through all the you went through all the training. You went through all the training. You have to know that. Oh Christ. So I assume you've just heard that clip where I had a minor breakdown. That reveal hurt me a little. I don't remember how many times I said it, but I'll say it once again, just in a calm voice. Gabriella's motivation was that she wanted to go home. She wanted to turn around. And she thought if she blew up the ship, knocked them off course, that they'd turn around. But they can't turn around.
They literally can't turn around.
They literally can't do that. Maybe Gabriella was counting on Mission Control coming up with, okay, so you've got this, like, we talked about this. You're going like 14% of light speed, right? You've got like the most powerful engines ever conceived by humankind. These are engines that like Thor himself could not match. These are like crazy powerful engines. But you know what, they can't turn you around, but and the mini engines also, like the maneuvering things that exist presumably for the purpose of maneuvering the ship, they can't maneuver the ship enough. You know what can? A homemade explosive device.
Yeah.
An IED.
That's a sound strategy.
Al-Qaeda can move this ship.
So that's what they do, Ben. They just build a bomb that was exactly like the other bomb, and they detonate it in a space that will knock it back on course.
And
if we ever
no
need
one
to
at
steer
Mission
in the
Control,
future, we could just make more bombs, Ben.
No one at Mission Control thought that was a possibility. Like, what if we just do a different bomb in the other direction? What if we just do the exact same thing in the other direction, get us back on course? They didn't think about that. This whole mission was going to end because all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't think of, we'll just do the same thing in the other direction. I didn't like the end of this book, Nate.
Yeah, no, it was kind of awful. Yeah.
Okay. So the book ends. Asuka sends a letter to her mom. They attach it to a bunch of nanobots and shoot them off towards Earth. They'll get there in 15 years. There's a lot of problems with that, but don't worry about it. She forgives her mom. She's going to try to make the best of it on the new world.
You have to at least say that radio waves exist and are faster.
Okay, so the thing is, radio waves do exist. They move at the speed of light. You would need a powerful, signal, because radio waves do lose strength as they travel. So that's why like every radio station doesn't come in on your car all the time. That's why when you get so far
That's
away,
why
like 105.7,
James Holden is able to broadcast to the entire solar
Well,
system because
James
he's got a
Holden
super radio
has-
wave.
Well, James Holden they didn't actually fuck it up with him. Like he has a military grade ship, presumably with some advanced communication systems.
Not
And in the
not
other
the first
one,
time. Not
the
the
first ship,
time.
he sends a packet which goes to a relay, which goes to the internet.
Okay.
So it's not so bad. I can
Give
buy
me an
the.
open channel.
I don't know why they wouldn't equip this ship with some kind of radio communication. I mean, as a last resort, again, there's no redundancies built into this ship whatsoever. It seems very much like a ship built by Elon Musk. It just everything goes right, and if anything goes wrong, we have no backup whatsoever. A radio wave, conceivably, if you had a powerful enough transmission, could reach Earth in 4 years, versus this snail mail thing that's going to get there in 15 years, somehow accelerating to some substantial portion of light speed to even get there in 15 years. It's a mess. That's whatever. So the point is Asuka forgives her mom. She sends her a letter. Hopefully Asuka's mom won't die of old age by the time it gets there.
The end.
Yeah, the end.
So
we never
Ben,
see Planet X. We don't know if their children survive. We don't know if they get there. The end.
We don't know if Gabriella was thrown out the airlock.
Yeah, we have no idea what happens to Gabriella. They realize they have no laws.
Yeah.
I would kill Gabriella. I don't know how you move on from that. Oh, you know why Gabriella changed her mind and decides to help them? She's pregnant. There's that.
Ah, there you go. That's the pregnancy saved the day. All right,
So I guess
that's
you can't
fine.
kill her.
Give
That's
you-
why you can't kill her. She's pregnant.
We'll give you 9 months, and once you pop that baby out, we'll pop you into the airlock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be great. You want to be the Judas baby? The only baby on the ship that doesn't have a parent because your parent was...
Asuka. Asuka's the alternate and can't get
Oh,
pregnant.
God.
There you go.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I
That's
solved the
not
mystery.
bad. Ah, I kind of like that. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's not what happened. So,
end.
okay.
Rubric time, Ben.
Yeah, let's just get this done with.
Yeah. Content and ideas, Ben.
Just give me 2 seconds.
Okay, well, I'm going to say in my blog post I gave it a 3. I'm going to lower that to 2.5.
Yeah,
Because it's
so this
it's somewhere between underdeveloped and never developed. So
this book breaks my rubric. I have up until this point, I've always discussed we have the possibility of awarding points in between. So a 3, like on the 100-point scale, a 3 is worth 11 points. A 2 is worth 6 points. We could split the difference and give it 9 points, which is probably what I would do. There's a lot of ideas. Way too many ideas. But I kind of like where Kitasei's head is at. I don't dislike the core of the book. It's just so out of focus that I can't say it's good. Like I can't. Part of our criteria is you can't just have original ideas. You have to develop them. Anyone can throw a lot of stuff out there. If you don't develop it, then you're just brainstorming. And this feels like a lot of brainstorming. There's just the part on Earth had to be cut way down. I don't know if that's a popular opinion. I don't know if you agree.
no, I agree.
I feel like that would fix most of my problem. Is just cut all the Earth's shit.
That would also save it in organization, Ben, because I gave it a 3 for having slow pacing. Because whenever important stuff happens. It's like, and now we're getting a flashback to Asuka in her school.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of action is happening, end of chapter, next chapter, 50 years ago. I hate that. But that's a personal thing to an extent. A lot of authors do that. But yeah, I think the school days could have been sped up a lot. And I don't think Louise and her dad are barely characters, but Louise is also her primary motivation. She spends more time with her friends than she does with Louise. Like, in general, Louise is not even alive for as much time as she spent with her friends. And I know losing him would be traumatic and feeling responsible would be traumatic, but like, okay, he liked space. Does that mean you're going to sacrifice your whole life to go into space?
Yes, absolutely. And specifically only this space mission. The next Mars mission, not high profile enough for Luis, who couldn't have gone on this Planet X mission anyway.
Yeah, not high profile enough for Louise. I feel like what's missing is a little bit more clarification on why Asuka wanted to do this. Like, I know why she wanted to go at the end because her mom pissed her off, but I don't know. It's just so all over the place. Use the language.
3. Gave it a 3.
Yeah, 3. It's fine. I don't think
nothing
there's any
special,
problems.
nothing amazing. Gets an average score. Personal preference, Ben.
Boof.
I gave it a 3 at the end of the day. There's stuff that I liked, but God, there's also just not a whole lot that... Like, there's a lot of not great stuff, too.
I gotta go with a 3. Like...
Failed to impress is the language and the rubric that led me to a 3.
Yeah, so the full criteria is generally positive towards the book, but not your thing, or just failed to impress. Yeah, it's not going to come through in the podcast, but I didn't hate the time I spent reading the book. And
Except
for a
when
while...
Lala was talking about how you threw me in the brig without evidence.
For a while, I was really positive towards the book. I mean, you read it faster than me. And you were telling me, like, oh, I don't know about this one. I hope you like it more than I do, or we're going to have, like, a really brutal series. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to be more positive. And then I got sort of to the middle, and I was like, oh, it's going to be a lot of this, isn't it? It's going to be a lot of this. Yeah. I haven't given up on Kitasei. I would read another book. She's got another book coming out. Maybe I'll check it out. But I think that'll be one I preview. I don't think we're going to cover that on the podcast unless it's like a major success.
Right. Recommendation strength, Ben.
2.5.
I gave it a 2.
I think there's... Okay, so...
I don't. I don't know who this is for. Sci-fi fans will pick that apart. Mystery fans won't get a satisfying mystery ending. Like, there's so many ideas at play here. What's going to get you?
I think what might get you is if you are a reader who is interested in having more women and more queer people represented in sci-fi. I think she handles those themes pretty well, with the caveat of I don't get the pregnancy stuff. I don't think that's super accurate to the attitudes towards pregnancy I've seen, but I'm a man and I don't have a lot of room to talk about that issue. So the pregnancy thing was kind of negligible. I don't think it added anything to the story, and I think it wound up taking a little bit away. But overall, I kind of liked it when it wasn't going out of its way to have themes. I liked the stuff that was in the background, just the gender fluidity, the casual use of preferred pronouns, like it was no big deal, because it was no big deal. That was just society had moved past that, and we could just let people live their lives. I thought that was cool. I think that there is a group of people out there who would get something out of that. But yeah, I think it probably would just inspire them to write something better.
My final score is 48.
My final score, hang on, let me add it up, because I'm going to give some Ben fun points. 51. I rounded it up to a 3 for Goodreads, and I'm going to be honest with you, that was that rounding up is mostly, I think the author has potential. Book, there's a good story in there. It's a little deep in there. I don't want to discourage this author, which I hope they never listen to this podcast. And I don't want to discourage anybody from picking up her books in the future. But yeah, this one just missed on too many levels.
Our patrons. Jamie, the Gravy Man. You can go check him out at ifyouwantthegravy.wordpress.com, where he will tell you his picks for the Oscars. He'll talk about the Oscars, and then he'll do the Gravies, which, from what I understand, are more prestigious and important than the Oscars themselves. You've got John Bierce, an actual real author. You should go check out his Patreon. He also has both actual writing works in the form of the Mage Errant series and The Rack. He also has something new coming out at the end of next month. More on that later. Stay tuned. There's also Brad, a.k.a. Isekai Sensei Sama, at that time I got reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster podcast. And then there's Shy with a Y. You can check her out on Instagram. And a special shout out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Thank you so much for coming in and ruining WrestleMania in a vain attempt to try to distract everyone from the fact that Vince McMahon is a sex trafficking evil piece of shit. Thank you, Dwayne. Good job. Great job. You couldn't save the DCEU, and now you're actively ruining things. You suck. Go fuck yourself. Rocktober's over.